Have you ever walked into a room or a building or even a park and it just felt right? Today, we're going to dive into a pretty revolutionary book that doesn't just ask why that is, it gives us the tools to build that feeling for ourselves.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right? Think about that one cozy corner in a cafe you love, or a bustling town square that just pulls you in. They have a certain life to them. And then you think about a generic office park or a sterile waiting room, and they just feel, well, dead. What is that magical difference?
I mean, just look at this. The contrast is huge. On the left, you've got a space that feels human. It invites you to come in, sit down, stay a while. On the right, it's anonymous, impersonal. One is alive, the other isn't. And this is the exact problem that the architect Christopher Alexander was obsessed with solving.
He actually gave this feeling a name, or, well, a non-name. He called it the quality without a name. It's that essential life-giving spark in a place.
Now, what Alexander is arguing here is really important. He's saying this isn't just a matter of taste. I like it, you don't. He believed it's a real objective quality, something you can actually point to that we've somehow forgotten how to create in our modern world.
So, if we've lost this ability, how in the world do we get it back? Well, Alexander's solution wasn't some new set of complicated rules from on high. Nope, it was something way more radical and way more democratic, a shared language for building.
And this is a huge deal. It's a fundamental shift in power. He basically wanted to take the secrets of design away from a handful of experts and put them directly into the hands of the people who actually live and work in these spaces.
So, what is this language made of? The basic building block is something he called a pattern. Now, a pattern isn't a strict rule. Think of it more like a really good piece of advice, a nugget of wisdom about how to solve a problem that comes up over and over and over again.
And every single one of the 253 patterns in his book has this incredibly simple, elegant structure. First, it tells you the context, like when you should even think about using this idea. Then it describes the problem, the real issue you're trying to solve. And finally, it gives you a solution, a concrete but still flexible way to fix it.
Okay, I know this might still feel a little abstract, so let's grab a real-world example right out of the book that I think everybody's going to get instantly. Let's break down pattern number 180.
The pattern is called window place. And even from this super simple sketch, you immediately understand what he's going for, don't you? It's that perfect, cozy spot to curl up with a book and just watch the world go by.
So here's the problem statement. He just nails this feeling, doesn't he? A regular window gives you light, it gives you a view, sure, but it doesn't create a place. It's not somewhere you can be. It's just a functional hole in the wall.
And the solution isn't some rigid architectural drawing. It doesn't say the seat must be exactly 24 inches deep and made of oak. No, it gives you these wonderful guiding principles. Put it where the sun is, make it deep enough to get comfy, make sure the light is good. It empowers you to make it work for your specific room.
Okay, so we've got these individual patterns, these little pieces of design wisdom. But how do you get from one window seat to a whole house or a town? Well, that's where the magic of connection comes in.
This is where that language metaphor really comes to life. A single pattern like window, place, it's just one word. It's great, it's useful, but its real power comes when you start combining it with other words to form an idea.
And Alexander actually mapped this out. It's incredible. Each pattern is like a node in this giant web. So window place points you to bigger patterns like light on two sides of every room, and also to smaller, more detailed patterns like thick walls. You just follow these threads to weave your design together.
So, this is how it all works. A single pattern is like a word. When you combine a few patterns, like window place, with patterns for a comfy chair and good light, you're making a sentence, a cozy reading nook. And when you combine hundreds of these sentences, you get the whole story, the poem of your home.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, this is a fascinating idea for architecture, but its influence did not stop there. The core concept was so profound, it actually leaped into a totally different universe. And I'm talking about the world of software engineering. See, programmers in the 80s and 90s were hitting a very similar wall. They were asking, how do we solve these common coding problems in a way that's elegant, that's reusable, and that other people can understand? How do we stop reinventing the wheel every single time? The impact was surprisingly quick and direct. So in 1977, Alexander's book comes out. By 1994, a group of software developers, famously known as the Gang of Four, released Design Patterns, a book that became an absolute Bible for programmers using that exact same context problem solution format for code. And then, just a year later, the guy who invented the wiki, the tech behind Wikipedia, said that Alexander's whole philosophy of empowering users to build their own environment was a direct inspiration. How cool is that?
And that really brings us right back to the heart of the idea. This quote from Alexander just says it all. The point was never just about making pretty buildings. It was about agency. It was about giving regular people a practical, working tool to actually shape their world.
So whether you're building a house or designing a piece of software, or heck, even planning a family reunion, the philosophy is the same. The people who are going to use the thing, who are going to live with the result, they should have a voice and a language to help create it.
So that leaves us with one final question for you. Think about a reoccurring frustration in your own life, at home, at work, anywhere. What's the context? What are the conflicting forces at play? And what might be an elegant, simple solution? What's your pattern?